Good evening, crafting friends. I'm Dorene Decibus from Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Technique Tuesday. It's the last Tuesday of the month, and so that means it's time to show you a brand new technique. So I'm just getting the video up on my phone so that I can see it and make sure you can see everything. So let me just move some things up that I'm going to be showing you tonight. So I'm going to show you a technique that is going to help with layering tonight. So I want to show you the product that I'm using first and talk about a couple of things. So first and foremost, I got 2 new bundles today. Hi, Roz. And these bundles, I just want to mention, are part of a suite. And so I bought them last week, and I didn't need all the items in the suite because I already had it. And so I bought one for full price and one for 50% off because of the suite sale. So don't forget the suite sale because it is ending on Monday. So take advantage of that. I've saved a lot of money this month. Okay, just threw that right on the floor. I have, and I'm going to apologize for any background noise, so let me know if it's really bad, Roz, if you can. I have my air conditioner on low, and I have a fan on low, because it's 8 o'clock at night, and it is still 90 degrees where I live. So it's the only air conditioner we have in, and it's keeping our whole house bearable. So I apologize if you can hear that noise in the background. So let's first talk about the designer series paper I'm using. It's called Beautiful Gallery Designer Series Paper. It is to die for. The colors are Basic Beige, Basic Black, Basic Gray, Calypso Coral, Cloud Cover, Crumb Cake, Early Espresso, Gray Granite, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Peach Pie, Pecan Pie, Secret Sea, and Smoky Slate. My goodness, I love all of those colors. So let's take a look at what comes in this package. So you get 4 of each design. So here's the first design. Just beautiful. And here's the other side. All right. And then we have this pattern. I love the beautiful nature scenes on the one side, and then something more subtle on the other side. And on this one, you can even color it in if you want, which is so cool. This pattern I just adore. It's just so different, and I really love it. And then on the back side, you have this beautiful, subtle background. Here we have some more flowers. So pretty. I mean, you could frame these sheets. And then the background. This gives us, like, it looks to me almost like a winter scene, because the trees are bare. It's all done kind of in black and white. And and then the other side, just so pretty. I can just see some really, that I could create some really fun cards with this. I look at this scene right here, it's just so beautiful with the water and the shore that I could cut this into panels and put it on a fun fold. I think that would be great fun. Oh, and I forgot to show you the background. Just some trees. Again, here's another beautiful piece with the scenery and then a pretty blue background. Then we have this one. Looks like some trees and some branches, and then kind of a slaty gray background. I agree, Roz, it is stunning designer series paper. This is the designer series paper we're using tonight, so I only have 2 pieces left because I needed a big chunk of each piece for tonight's card, and then another just pretty blue background. This one reminds me of low tide at the beach, and then another kind of like a wood background. some more flowers with the mossy meadow, and then kind of a map on the background. And then this really pretty, beautiful, almost reminds me of a farmhouse, an abandoned farmhouse with some water going through. It's just really pretty. And then the back side is just a nice textured background. Okay, so that's the paper we're using. So I'll set this aside. And the stamp set I'm going to use tonight is More Messages. And I'm going to show you some stuff about this and how great it is. Because this is one stamp. And it has dies to match. So we'll be seeing how to use that as well. So let me put that aside. And this is the card we're going to make tonight. And you might be asking, what is the technique? Well, the technique is a hint on how you can layer, especially when you're using just a 1/8 of an inch border, which is actually a 1/16 of a border. So let me show you how I make this, and we'll get started. So what we need for tonight, let me just get everything out. I need a larger than normal piece of basic white cardstock to stamp my sentiments, and I'll show you why in a minute. I am using a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock that I'm just going to burnish in half. For the inside of the card, I made this a little smaller. It is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And so this is going to go on the inside of our card. And then I just have a 1/2 inch strip of the Designer Series paper on the card that I made earlier. Hi Barbara, I put the Designer Series paper vertically. I'm going to put this one horizontally. I just cut a strip off. I didn't cut it. That way I could kind of decide how I want it to have this. And I'm just going to put that down there and then use my paper snips to trim it. You can certainly cut the strip to exactly what you want so you can get the most out of it, but it's just a 1/2 inch scrap, so I wasn't too worried about that. And then I'm going to put this just on the inside of the card. And then I'm going to set this aside. Okay, so the technique that I want to show you tonight is a layering technique for this. Lots of you know that I like to do this 1/8 inch of layering, but many of you have complained to me that it's really hard to get it to set right. So I want to show you a trick you can use. And I was surprised how well it worked. So what I'm going to do is take some, this is like painter's tape. Oh, are you having problems? Is it my fans in the background, Barbara? I'm sorry if that's it. Can you hear me better now if I talk up a little bit? Let me know if that's better. If not, I'll just start turning fans off. I just turned the closest one off, so tell me if that makes it a little better for you. What I'm going to do is measure out this 6-inch piece, about 6 inches, doesn't have to be perfect, piece of like painter's tape. It's a removable tape, so that's what we want. And I'm going to use, I could use if I had my grid. Okay, thanks Barbara. Maybe it's, I will tell you, it looks outside like we could have a thunderstorm at any minute. So it could be that, it could be weather related too. So I apologize if that's happening. So I'm going to put it down just a little lower so I can reach it for what I've got to do. So I'm just lining, this is 1 inch wide, so I'm just matching it to the grid on my glass mat. I also have grid paper, so I could do it on the grid paper as well, because this is removable tape, so I don't have to worry about it. The reason I'm doing 6 inches is because when I put this, when you see what I do with it, I actually want this tape to be longer than my cardstock's going to be. So you'll see that in just a minute. So I am going to be making something that I can use to help layer everything once when I'm using those 1/8 inch. And I'm also going to make it for 1/4 of an inch. So you just need your 2 pieces of tape. Now, I just stick these. I have a little thing on my side that you can't see on my desk that I can just stick my non-stick, my removable tape, so that I can use it over and over again until it wears out. So you can do the same with this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my ruler, and on both of these on the bottom, I am going to measure out something for my 1/8 border. What you have to remember, I have to measure 1/16 of an inch, because 1/16 on both sides adds up to that 1/8. So I have here my ruler that has 1/4 of an inch, then it has 1/8 of an inch, and I am measuring to the 16th of the inch. And I'm just going to put a little mark right there. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm sorry if my head gets in the way. I am going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to take my ruler, just like you were taught in school, and I'm going to connect those dots. So I'm just lining it up so it's even. So I have that 1/16 of an inch. Then I am going to measure out for my 1/4 of an inch, because I can do this with my 1/4 of an inch as well. Let me just move my block out of the way. It's getting in the way of my ruler. And I am going to measure on this side 1/8 of an inch, because again, it's going to be 1/8 of an inch all the way around, because 1/8 plus 1/8 is equal to 1/4 of an inch. So when you're cutting 1/4 of an inch smaller, you would measure 1/8. So this way I can use this twice. I can use it for if I need help lining those up evenly too. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to start with measuring to my 1/16 of an inch, and again do that towards the top. So I have 2 lines to connect. And I can connect those. There we go. And then I'm going to measure my 1/8 of an inch so I can connect those as well to get my other measurements. Now you can label these. I don't, because I can tell which is which. Okay, so now I'm going to take my cardstock, and I am going to line up the edge of the tape right to the edge of the cardstock. So I'm going to turn this over, because it's much easier to do on the other side, and I am going to line this piece up with that 1/16 of an inch mark. So there we go. I've done it on one side. I can hold it up to the light, see that it's perfect. And now I'm going to take my other piece of tape, and I'm going to line this side up. And I'm just going to bring it up, make sure I've lined it up properly, not crooked. It's just a tad off. So let me just fix that. By turning it over and doing it the right way. I think that would be the best thing to do. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to line that, my piece up with that line. By turning it over, I can see, because I did you probably can't see it on the video, but I can see the line through the masking tape, and then I can hold it up here to see, is it straight, and if it's not, then I can bring that edge down so that it is. And let me just check that one more time. Since I fixed it, perfect. Okay, now I'm going to take my designer series paper that I'm going to be putting on, and I'm just going to add my adhesive to the back. Once you make this, you can use it over and over again, so you won't have to be, oh, I put this on backwards. Well, that was silly. You want most of the tape to come off of your project, not on your project. And I just made that little mistake there. So let's go back and get this lined up. So the one thing I forgot to say is that your tape is going to end up being on, most of it is going to be off of your card to be able to make this little device we're making. And so it might right now look like a lot of work to do this, but you're going to see once you've got it made and you can reuse it, you can use this over and over again. So again, just adjusting it so it will be perfect. Now I can tape this down and it will hold everything in place. And I'm going to just slide this into the corner, make sure my edges are even with the tape, and then I can just remove the tape and I have perfect placement. So if you're really good at putting your cardstock on a small border, then you don't need to do all of this. But if you struggle, this is a way that you can compensate for it. So I'm going to take some ribbon. This is the Cloud Cover faux linen ribbon. It's just so pretty. I just have to say that. It kind of shimmers a bit, which is really nice. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive right in the center of that. I'm going to bring it to where I want it to be on my card. Then I'm going to just add a little bit of adhesive and fold it over. And then I can just add this to the front of the card. Okay, now for the stamping part. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is, I told you I had that big sheet of paper. It measures like 5.5 by 6. I want this stamp to easily fit on this, and so that's why I measured it quite large. Then I'm going to take my Secret C ink pad. And what I want to be careful with is I don't want to get the Secret C everywhere. So I'm just going to go over it and stamp it all in. If I see that there's some extra ink, I'm going to just take a piece of paper towel and I'm going to wet it. And I'm going to go especially to those edges, and just so that I don't get a lot of excess ink. Now some people, so I'm using the absolute largest block that Stampin' Up! Sells. It is the, let me see, it is the F block. And If you don't have an F block but have a stamp positioner, then you can use the stamp positioner as well. Okay, so I just took some of that ink off, and I usually stand when I do this. I'm going to put the block down, and then I'm just going to give it even pressure. And hopefully I've given it enough pressure. Yes, I did. Look how beautiful that is. Now I could use this as a background on a piece of paper, or I can use these as individual labels. And it's kind of cool because you can keep anything that you don't use, like I've done here. So I probably won't ink this up in Secret Sky for a while because I have all of this stuff. So how I line this up, I kind of make it go center because I know the Forever Friends is going to go in here and the congratulations at the bottom. So look how easily this lines up. So I'm just going to move it so that everything looks to be centered and in it pretty well. So it looks like I've got that. And then I've already got some tape. I'm going to tape this down because once I put it in my machine, I don't want to have to move it over and over again. So just making sure it's all set. And then I'm going to get my die cut machine out. The way my camera's set up, you're not going to be able to see the entire thing, so don't worry. But I'm putting my sandwich in, putting the words in, and then I'm just going to run it right through the machine. And you can see where it's going to just all start coming out on its own. So let's put these away. I'm going to take off my tape. So that those pieces can come out. And I can just push these through if they don't come through. So I'm going to get rid of this. And you can see I have a hi there. I have time to celebrate. For some of the little ones, I have I adore you. You can do anything. You're simply incredible. Thanks a lot. Forever Friends. You're absolutely the best. Happy birthday, a note. Miss you, hello. Look at all these greetings you get. Good luck. Always here for you. Hooray. Congratulations. Oh, happy day. Way to go. And lots of love. So by stamping this out all at once, you get all of these greetings. So I'm going to use a different one so that I'll still have you're the absolute best in my pile. And I think I'm going to take time to celebrate. So let's get that. I'm going to put all of these together and put the die back in the container. And I'm going to grab my little baggie. It's just a clear envelope, and put all of these in it. So I have all of these greetings ready to go. All right. So now let's finish the card. So I'm going to need a bow. So I'm going to make a bow. I like to do my bows right on the spool. I waste less ribbon that way. and I can make it as big or small as I want it. There we go. And I can cut off my ends, and you can see that that's all of my ribbon waste. So that's why I try to go that way. I'm going to add some dimensionals. Oops, those are the little ones. I want the big ones. I think for this I really only need 2, which is always nice. And I'm going to add my sentiment, and then I'm going to take and get a glue dot from my spool and put that on right up here on the corner. There we go. And now let me get some bling. So this is the 20, 25, 27 in color flat pearls, and I'm going to use some of the Secret Sea. And I think on this one I'm going to use all little ones because my tag is kind of little. So I don't want to put any of the big ones on because they're going to just take up too much space. And I'm going to just go over here where it's white and cloud cover, and there is our card. And we get that perfect border around our paper. So thank you so much for joining me tonight for Technique Tuesday. I hope you try this technique out and let me know in the comments how it works for you. Any storage hints on your tape. I decided there had to be an easy way to do this. There is one stamp company that has a tool that they just released that does this as well, but I kind of based the tape thing on that as well. So have a great rest of the week, and I will be back Friday night for another edition of Fun Fold Friday. Good night, everybody. Take care.